let's talk about Bloody Mary's show a little bit. It's a marvelous show. You had an interesting experience, which led you to conceive of the show and create
the sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep paralysis.
I have you ever had it? I've only had it once. And it was the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my life. You know, it's all folklore. There's folklore built all around it, and you know, I was sort of snoozing on the sofa, and suddenly, do you remember the alternative face in The Exorcist? The one with the white face and the black lip. The not Papalazzaru, but whatever it was called, Papazulu or whatever. Is that a band? I don't know. Anyway, that face appeared. Yeah, and it was terrifying. It was standing over me like this, and I actually properly screamed the house down, and I ran out of the lounge where I was sleeping, ran into the bed. My husband was in bed, and I'd sort of hidden under the covers, and then suddenly I have a small dog. The dog jumped onto the bed, and so because I was under the covers, screaming, going, "It's followed me! It's followed me!" And then sort of screamed hysterically, and then apparently I just went and fell back asleep. That's exactly how it happened. And when I woke up in the morning and sort of got the 50 Shades of embarrassment off of myself for screaming like a girl. No, properly screaming like a girl. I said, okay, this was the most terrifying thing in my life. What can I do so if this happens again, I will not be scared by it? So what I decided to do was I created a short film about this thing that I'd seen, who I'd named Winifred, and it was her job to go around people who have sleep paralysis to sort of snap them out of it. Otherwise, because if they don't, they will die. And I've never had sleep paralysis since. So it worked. But I said the budget was too big, and it would have been prohibitively expensive to make it as a short film. So rewrites after rewrites after rewrites, and 18 months later, it eventually, became, the character of Winifred became Viscera, who is Bloody Mary's best friend in the show. So, and in episode 2, we talk about, we actually go and see what sleep paralysis does and what Viscera does. So, so yeah, Winifred's in there, but Liz, who plays Viscera, when she heard that, she got really peed off.
Now,
she was originally the lead. Sorry.
I was going to just ask, is that she was originally the focus of the lead in the show. What made you change that and create the Bloody Mary character?
I can be cynical and say marketing, but I can be honest and say marketing. More people have heard. It was much easier to say that. I'm doing a show on about what if Bloody Mary was nice. It's much easier to pitch than, okay, well, we got somebody who's like sleep paralysis, and then you do this, and so you have to explain it all. That was a problem in England because most people in England don't know the legend of Bloody Mary. We have our own Bloody Mary, who was Mary the First, Mary. I don't want to say Mary Tudor. Maybe I want to say Mary Tudor. I don't know. That might be incorrect, and I'm very wrong, and I should be going to Wikipedia right now to have a look. So yeah, she was a queen.
Not Mary Queen of Scots.
Not Mary Queen of Scots. No, everybody always gets that mixed up. It was Bloody Mary was not Mary Queen of Scots. It was it was Elizabeth I's sister. That was Bloody Mary.
I knew her well.
I'm sorry?
I knew her well.
Oh, she's fabulous,
Got it.
A lot of fun at parties. Not only if you're a Catholic. If you're a Protestant, you were gone. You were gone. So yeah, that's where it came from, and so yeah, it all stems from marketing. It helps that kids around Halloween go looking on YouTube for Bloody Mary videos, So that's where it came from. The character of Abdab was originally in the short. So Samantha and Amicus. The rest of the characters are all sort of new. They were all brought in.
I find it fascinating what you just talked about, and how you changed the focus from Viscera, and the reason why you changed the focus from Viscera to Bloody Mary and creating her. And that I find it amazing among creative people and the thought that goes into something and the issues that you deal with that the audience never knows about, but you have to, in many cases, make changes on the fly and deal with unexpected situations that
amen, sister.
That nobody who's watching it ever knows about.
Well, I guess it's like a swan. You know how the swan is so graceful above water, and then you look underneath, and it's legs flapping like that. Yeah, we were like that. You know, as long as the audience doesn't sort of know that you're sort of, you know, you're under a duvet going, I can't do this. You know, as long as they don't know that, you know, I've just said this live on a Google Hangout. Oops.
Yep. Horribly offended.
But yeah, but there was stuff on the deck. There was loads of things that we had to change at the last minute. When Caraboss appears, Malevolent's mother, when she appears in episode 3, originally she was supposed to come out of a television set like The Ring. And you know, the props guy couldn't find a fake TV. So we were like, okay, let's rewrite it. And then he suggested dry ice, and we were like, okay, well, we'll do it with dry ice. She'll come out of dry ice. And so we bought all the dry ice, and then we suddenly realized the day of the shoot that we would need a bathtub full of water for this dry ice.
Oh, in order to generate the smoke from it?
To generate the smoke. So it was all done digitally afterwards. When she appears in the smoke, it was all added later on. It was a great guy called Luke Dighton from the Dighton brothers who did that, and he was absolutely wonderful, and I love him for doing it. But also, the main thing that nobody, in fact, we just have to continually point it out, is that we had to change actresses halfway through.
For Malevolent.
For Malevolent. We had to take a 2-week break to just get some more money together to finish the shoot. And everybody could come back apart from Jenny, who played Malevolent. There was no way I could rewrite it because her pregnancy was driving the second half of the series. So we had an
important component of the last episode.
It's absolutely, and it was like, you know, we cannot not do this. And so we recast, and Jenny was actually sort of, you know, it was a choice of, well, do you want to work for free on a web series that 4 people are going to watch? Or do you want to sort of, you know, be in the lead in the West End playing the Whoopi Goldberg character in Ghost the Musical? She chose Whoopi.
Big mistake.
And you know what? No, it's not a big mistake. You know where your bread's being buttered. A chance to perform, because she was one of the sisters, and originally, and so she would come and do the show during the day, and then go and do the musical at night. But no, she was given the big sort of, you know, chance, so she couldn't come back. And so we got Tanya, who stepped in at the last second and was phenomenal. But when she put the outfit on and got the contacts on, she looked almost exactly the same. So we were like, okay, people are going to be scratching their heads. So we changed her hair color, you know, we made her sort of more purple and changed the veins on her face with different colors to try and make her look different. Well, and then
weren't there also some inside jokes when she came back of, you look different?
Yes, because I did it the Roseanne sort of way. You know, you can either do the Darren from Bewitched way of not commenting on it,
yeah,
or go the complete opposite way and do what Roseanne did with the, was it Becky?
Becky,
with
yes.
Becky, yes. Which I thought Roseanne at the time.
Yeah.
She just constantly changed. And, you know, and there were such good lines in Roseanne. You know, when the original actress comes back, they say, you know, where the hell have you been? She just goes, I've been to the store. These were such wonderful things, and it's like my daughter went away to college and came back a whole new person. These wonderful lines. So what we did, we had Amicus being the voice of the audience, saying, she looks different, and we were like, oh, she's a shapeshifter. And she goes, oh, shapeshifter, yeah, I can buy that.
Yeah, that explains it.
That explains it away, and it's our sort of show that we can do that. But people were scratching their heads going, I don't know what you mean. And it's like, it's a new actress.
They look very similar, and you're right. I mean,
Well, they do. You know what? For series 2, which I'm writing at the minute, I'm trying to... There's one episode where you actually meet Malevolent's, for one of the better term, baby daddy.
Okay.
And baby daddy has a new girlfriend called Melanoma. And I would really, really, really like Jenny to come back as Melanoma. So you have the two Malevolents meeting.
Okay.
And sort of mocking each other. Sort of, why are you talking like that? Why are you talking that ridiculous thick voice? Which is how Jenny used to sort of do it. I would love her to do that. If Jenny isn't available or isn't willing, that's fine. But for series 2, ideally, I would like Jenny back as Melanoma. Please, Jenny, come back.
You've created some really wonderful characters in this show.
Thank you.
Abdabs, Amicus, Samantha, the succubus, which I related a personal interest in that. Because of a family member. And Viscera. I mean, these are terrific characters. Which one was the most difficult for you to write or to write for?
Who was the most difficult to write for? You know what? They all filled me with so much joy that I didn't have a problem writing for any of them. It was interesting when Abdabs was much more catty. He was like the effeminate best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And which I realize is a cliche. So when Thomas Coombs came on board, he just did it as himself, as a sort of Cockney geezer, like that. You're right, Bloody Mary, you're right. And he still took the original lines, but we rewrote some of them that didn't work. And there were lines that got cut, but which was odd. There were punchlines were cut, but feed lines are still in there. It's really bizarre. So, there's the one where Abdabs and Amicus are in the toilets, and it's Abdabs, you're here again. And Abdabs is supposed to turn around and say, "Hi, the man with a child in his eyes." This is a Kate Bush song. But for some reason, we cut the punchline. I have no idea why we kept the feed line though. They were all so much fun to write for.
They were all fun.
They were all fun. I mean, would you like a scoop?
Sure.
Okay, right. This is my Carrot Top style prop comedy. Now I have to run and get it. So if you just bear with me 1 second, talk amongst yourselves.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Get ourselves some snacks.
I don't know if you can see this. Hang on.
Yes.
Right, that is the character guide for Series 2, which I'm hoping is not in focus because that's the spoilers for the entire show.
Not a lot as you keep moving it, so we caught a quick glimpse.
Okay, well, that's all you're getting. So I was gonna tweet that, and then I realized, no.
Us, huh?
I'm sorry?
You're just flashing us, huh?
I just flashed you. I gave you, you tasted blood, and now you want. He said, licking his lips lasciviously.
Yes.
But that doesn't work when you're 40,